I'm in the room with John and Jacqueline Romero, and they have a really interesting story, which I thought it would be neat to share with our trigeminal neuralgia patients. So, John, who I'm going to introduce here. John, how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Excellent. So, John came to me about 4 years ago with trigeminal neuralgia, a recurrence of his trigeminal neuralgia. And the thing that was interesting about it was he had previous surgery with Dr. Jannetta. So my mentor and the father of trigeminal neuralgia surgery operated on him back in 2000 or 2001. And I just asked him, I was just curious, I said, do you remember Dr. Jannetta? Do you know? Tell me what you remember of your experience. So I wanted you to share that, John, with our audience. And then Jacqueline, I wanted you to chime in too. I'm going to ask you to tell your impressions because I think they're really profound and you really captured, I think, what I remember of Dr. Jannetta too. But tell the audience what your personal experience was of meeting Dr. Jannetta and your experience in Pittsburgh.
I had only talked to him on the phone. And then when I went to Pittsburgh and I met him personally, the minute I met the man, he put me at such ease. And I was just drawn to him. I can't explain it. I use the word charismatic. That's just how he was. And I felt at ease, and both my wife and I felt that we were in the right place, and there was going to be no problem at all. And I can't explain it to you, but he's the type of, not just a doctor, but he's the type of person that you can talk to and have a conversation. I've talked to a lot of people, be they really intelligent people or not, and some you can talk to and some you can't. And he was just one of those conversationalists that you felt at ease with all the time. And I can't say enough about the man. That's it.
He truly was able to make a connection with people. He found something in each human being and was able to connect. And I thought it was really interesting too that he noticed you were saying that the nurses and everybody was sort of paying attention to you. And what did he say to you? You said, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on, but tell that part of the story. I thought
it just seemed that everybody was overly nice. I'm sure they got a lot of that from the doctor, from his personality, Dr. Jannetta. But I can't explain it. There was something was going on there. And when I said to him, "What's going on?" He said, "It's not the people." He said, "It's you and your wife. You just draw them in." And I can't explain it to you. You had to be there and hear the conversation and have it with him. And he just made us feel so good. He's a special person. That's all I can say.
He just had that intuition, and he could see things that other people couldn't see. And that's why I noticed that, you point that out. But
intuition, yes.
I see that in you folks too, and you're a special couple. And so I want to introduce Jacqueline, John's wife. And Jacqueline, tell the audience what your experience was of going to Pittsburgh at that time, and what your experience was with meeting Dr. Jannetta, because he was a remarkable man.
Oh, there are no words. It was if you were a member of his family. He explained everything as far as the surgery was concerned. Everything was organized. You felt like you were in the right place. You found the right doctor. And he just, the warmth, there's no words to describe the warmth that we felt immediately, that we knew we were going to be okay. We found the right person that was going to do that. And everyone in his office, in the hospital, they set up a hotel for us to stay in. The people there were patients that had the surgery before we got there, and we were recouping with them. And then John had his surgery. We stayed there length of, I think it was like 4 days, to make sure that he had a follow-up visit, and what we had to do when we got back to New Jersey. And there's no words to describe how you felt about the man. He was just, we knew this man knows exactly what he's doing. It was a miracle that we found him.
And John, you got 19 or 20 years of relief out of that microvascular decompression.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was tell the audience how the connection continued with me.
Oh, and then what was ironic was after John had his surgery, I was on the computer and I was reading, and I said to him, gee, you know, I just read that there was a dinner honoring Dr. Jannetta, and Dr. Mark McLaughlin was the speaker at his retirement. And the more I read about Dr. McLaughlin, I said to John, I'm writing down his name, because if he trained under Dr. Jannetta, I know that, God forbid, anything happens in the future, we need to have this man in our phone book, because I might need him someday. And a miracle took place, because 15 years later, by some freak accident, John got the trigeminal on the second side of his head, on the other side, I'm sorry. And I said to him, oh my God, there's only one person we have to see. It's got to be Dr. McLaughlin. And again, we came to his office, and I knew again, John and I both felt like this is like God sent him to us, and there's no words to describe that. Only people that have lived that nightmare know what that feels like. There's no words I can say, Dr. McLaughlin, to say thank you for everything you've done. And also, God bless you and Dr. Jannetta, because without you, our life would never have... John's last thing before he had the second one was, I'd rather be dead than live this pain.
Mm.
You saved his life. You really did.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, occurrence or coincidence that our lives were brought together? I believe it was an occurrence. I believe it was in the stars for us to meet, and for Dr. Jannetta to lead you to me, and for us to get to know each other. And it's an honor to care for both of you. So thank you for sharing with that story with us. It was really wonderful.
Oh, we're honored to be in your life. And we can never thank you enough.
It's my pleasure.
Really.